Welcome, friends. My name is Chris, and this is the O2 Drop. This is the world's best Pokemon podcast for adults.
Damn right.
Oh,
Yes.
shit.
And now the proud owners of official O2 Drop business cards, which were given out on the weekend. That was awesome. I am joined today by, well, apparently my sister Claire's favorite person in the world. So I don't know if I should start addressing you as future brother-in-law, Dan Baguli.
Brother, I'm married.
That hasn't stopped anyone in the past.
Shout out Chris's sister's favorite person.
Oh, that's me. Hello, I'm
Yes.
Daniel.
Yep.
Shout out Chris's sister Claire.
Yeah, whatever. The person with no mobilized fan base, Ethan Walters.
That's me. Hi guys.
And friend of the show and unofficial fact checker and recent top 8 finish at Perth Regionals 2025, Peter Vowles is here.
It's Peter Vowles.
Hello.
Is it Vowles? I said it wrong.
Vowles.
I said it right.
Fuck.
Fuck you, Ethan. This is why you've got no mobilized fan base.
Wow. Maybe I just give Mark the mic now.
That's why his handle's Peter AEIOU. Because he's so funny.
Also in the room.
Vowles.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Also in the room with no microphone is the most apparently recognizable voice on the O2 Drop. It's Mark the Meat Murray.
Cowabunga cunts.
Thank you for that little tidbit, Mark. All right, so I want to firstly welcome everybody. Oh, first of all, why Joel's not here. So Joel's usual host, he's in the doghouse. His wife wouldn't let him out of the house. But also he just judged Go all weekend at regionals. We didn't think he had any input worthy of being on this episode
I'm led to believe that's why he's in the doghouse.
because he doesn't go. I mean,
Yeah.
We're a VGC and
Yeah.
TCG household only.
yeah, I wonder
You're
if he
grounded.
Judged, if he judged a real sport, would he have like?
He would not be on the couch.
Tune in next week to find out.
Yeah, I want to welcome to all our first-time listeners. There were so many people that showed genuine interest in this podcast on the weekend at Perth Regionals. So we'll get to some shout-outs later. Please stick around for that. We are going to get into the formalities and interview Peter first with his top 8 finish. But all those people that I said I give a shout-out to, all the people I owe an apology to, all the people I owe an explanation to, all the people that complained to me on the weekend, I will address all of you this episode. So all the Nick Kahns of the world who just scroll really quickly through the episode looking for their name to come up, which he told me he does. I will talk about you, Nick Kahn, this episode, but I'm not going to tell you when. So you have to listen to the whole episode.
You already have. Don't mention his name again.
Oh, I will. Let's start things off. First of all, Peter.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on.
Anytime. We have to do the formalities or Joel will kill me. How did you get into Pokemon?
I first played Pokemon when my friend lent me his DS. I think I was about 10 or 11 with Pokemon Black. I got to play it for like an hour before I had to give it back. The only thing I remember was I chose Tepig, but one of the NPCs says like, oh, water is strong into fire. You should choose that one. And I felt really upset. So
Oh, how old were you when this happened?
I was like, I think 10.
What is with the Tepig love in this room? I can't stand Embor.
I mean, I think
I'm getting the finger from Mark in the corner.
I think all the Gen 5 ones are good. I think it's I'm a big fence sitter on the starters for that gen, I think. But yeah, so that was after that it was similar to Mark actually, Gen 3 on the school computer emulator during computer science. Yeah, ever since I haven't been able to play a Pokemon game at regular speed. Yeah, that's
Yeah. So that 1 hour of black and white hooked you for life.
yep.
You're addicted now.
I didn't play for like another 5 years, but yeah.
It lasts in the system quite a while.
Memory is always there. I have a very similar story. Like my very first Pokemon experience was like emulated Pokemon Silver, I think, on an airplane. It was just in the in-flight
Damn.
entertainment, and I just like schlepped around with a Cyndaquil for the entire flight over to the UK or whatever it was. And again, it was like 5 years before I picked up Pokemon again, but just like that core memory sticks with you, you know.
So that was how you got into Pokemon in general. What about competitive Pokemon?
So Sword and Shield came out like 3 days before my final WACE exam. So after that was done, I picked up the game, played through it, and
Treat yourself.
yeah, I I mean, it was all right, but
What, the games were mid or the experience?
the game was pretty mid. But they started getting like Wolfie videos pretty much on my recommended. So I thought I'd give it a go. I saw on Facebook that there were events in Perth, so I came to the one in January of 2020. I think it was like 30-person tournament, like right at the start of Sword and Shield. Went 3-1 and bubbled before I knew what that meant. So
It's a sex thing, right? Bubble.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was a very interesting first tournament experience. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to go to the regional that year, ended up getting busy, and then COVID happened. So no events, and then came back in, I think, end of 2021, and yeah, I've been coming back since. It's been a good time.
Did you do those online tournaments during COVID lockdown?
No, I kind of lost interest for a bit over COVID. Did some other, like I played a little bit, but I think I didn't like the format, so I didn't play too much over COVID. Yeah, I only came back once I liked the format again, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. What makes you not like a format or like a format?
If I win, I like the format.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I don't like the format.
Right. Okay. So you like Reg H then? Because you've done a bit of winning recently.
In recency, sure. In the lead up to the regional, not so much. But yeah, Reg H has definitely been like, I liked it, then I hated it, and now I like it again.
It is one of the regulations of all time.
It is.
There is a difference between winning and winning in a way that makes you feel good about yourself. Like if you win and you still feel garbage, then that's the mark for a bad format for me. And that's why I'm very, very glad to see the back of Reg H.
Yeah. I'll get to my run at the end of this, but yeah, that was like when you win just from like a lucky Diaclaw sleep and you're going to lose otherwise. Like it doesn't always feel the best.
No.
Because you're not skilled.
Now, the amount of times I've lost from a lucky Diaclaw sleep, I'm owed that one.
Yeah,
This is my juice coming
true,
back
true.
to me.
That's right. It's karma.
Yeah, which I'm sure Peter can also relate to.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Last two Puff Piece questions for you. Favorite Pokemon,
Dash Bun.
actually?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, no, keep going. Triggered me, but
He's a bready dog. What's wrong with that?
I mean,
Have you no
I
soul?
like bread. If it was a bready cat, I'd be more,
No, that would be weird.
be weird.
No,
That's
bready dog.
too far.
Yeah,
Too far.
Maybe a croissant cat.
yeah. Actually, I like that
Oh,
one.
I like
That
a
would be
croissant
pretty
cat.
good,
If
yeah.
you're listening, Pokemon Company International, we know you do listen to this. Give us Oceanics back and make a bread cat. A croissant cat.
Croissant.
Yes. What about favorite Pokemon to use competitively?
Dash Bun.
Really? The double whammy for Dash Bun.
I tried so hard to make Dash Bun work in this regulation, but it's like with like the lava plume into self well baked body
Typhlosion, yeah.
W defense and then launch body presses. But the problem was it like you could get to like +6 and it was still doing fuck all damage. It
It's not a fairy type and it hasn't got a very good defense stat.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't justify like Terra fighting to boost it either because you need the defensive steel, I found. So I really like it competitively. It's bad, but I do like it.
Do you know who doesn't like it?
I don't know, Chris. Who doesn't like it?
So for those listening for the first time, welcome to the show. I do have a list. It is a list of people, of things or people that have wronged me or wronged people on this podcast or wronged the community in general.
You list people on the behalf of others?
Yeah, I've backed people with valid complaints about other people and said, yeah, all right, I'll put them on the list.
That's so sweet, Chris.
I am very thoughtful.
It's now a community section of the list.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Submit your requests. We'll
Our
review them
list.
for the list.
I will assess your submissions with worthy of being on it. And the list does have tiers as well. I'll get to that later. But yeah, your Dash Bund traumatized me because we had a monotype tournament and I was mono fire.
Yes.
I think you
remember
guys
the
can,
match.
you can probably do the math.
Yeah, the body was just too well baked.
And you brought mono fairy, you piece of shit. Yeah.
Dash Bun only has one type.
Pretty sure I also brought Fairy and you couldn't do anything to it either.
You also brought Dashbun.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
We are like the same team but one.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you also, but it was Peter the one that traumatized me.
Yeah, I know.
You were just like this.
You're like,
slipstream
it's
behind.
back.
So you're not going to try and cook it for Reg G 2.0, Electric Boogaloo?
Dash button Reg G, Jesus Christ.
If it's not working in Reg H, it's certainly not working in Reg G.
Well, that just sounds like a skill
I
issue,
don't know.
Peter.
Like, the thing with restricted formats is sometimes you can make jank shit work, and it's like a fire immunity. There's got to be something.
I'd love to see how Dashbun does into a Calyrex Shadow Rider.
Chi Yu Lava Plume?
Not well.
I used that in Reg C. That was a lot better in Reg C because there were so many dark types I found.
You can wall other chi.
Exactly. But yeah, Reg G, like, unless I'm using fucking Groudon Lava Plume or some shit.
Cooking.
Using my restricted to support my dash button.
Tech.
Oh no.
All right, so favorite Pokemon Dash Button and competitive Pokemon Dash Button. I don't know if it's competitive, but okay, it's your take. It's fine. Let's talk about your run. We should probably acknowledge the winner of Perth Regionals, Oliver Ramsey. Congratulations, Oliver. We will get to you, but
Oliver.
we're more interested in the person in the room who went top 8. We had 2 people in top 8. Friend of the show, good friend of the show, Kieran Singh.
Yes.
Mevlad. And Peter, whereabouts are you now in the oceanic standings of CP? Are you in the top 20?
I think I'm 11th, right? Yeah. So, and now that Oliver's won, that's like, if you don't include him, that would be 10th. So, like, of the top 20.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
That's neat.
I mean, no one in this room really, for example, Dan, he knows what it's like to be 52nd. He does not know what it's like to be 11th. Does it feel good?
After what happened on the weekend, yeah.
Are you going to go to Worlds if you are in top 20?
I mean, I'd like to. It's halfway across the world, so it's going to be like whether or not I can go at the time, basically. Yeah.
Disneyland?
True. All right, I'm going to Worlds.
You've got plenty of time
You heard it
to
here
start an
first.
OnlyFans. Or Only Buns and just have like Dash Bun in sexual poses or something. I don't know.
Sounds like wishful thinking, Chris.
No. Okay, so let's talk about your team. What was your team?
So it was nothing, I guess, out of the ordinary. The King Gambit, Black Glasses, Terra Duck, Swords Dance stuff. Volcarona set up.
Terra Fairy?
Yep, Terra Fairy, Terra Blast.
Electabuzz, right? Double setup redirection.
Electabuzz.
That team.
Yeah. Done Rillaboom, Dondozo, and
Sneasel, right?
Sneasler,
Yeah.
yes. So yeah, nothing out of the ordinary except
Don Dozer doesn't show up on every comp, but
no, but it's not uncommon to see.
no.
Rillaboom's also on my hate list for those listening at home. I just think it just ruins all the strats I have. I hate it. I hate Grassy Glide, I hate Grassy Terrain, I hate the Woodhammer, I hate all of it. And now they're all running high horsepower, so now I can't even put Goldengo in front of it.
That's why you run Rillaboom because it's such a good disruptor.
And now
stuff
the
like
loaded
that.
dice bullet seat stuff as well.
I wasn't using that. No. Well, I've got nothing. to
Other
bullet.
people were though.
Yeah, I've got nothing to bullet seed. So yeah, just the classic with Woodhammer and Grassy Glide, help you high horsepower and fake out.
And how long were you sitting on this team before Perth Regionals? Like, were you for months or like the day before, like I did?
I decided on this team 2 weeks before. I was tossing and turning between a Como O team and this one. I wanted, like, the Como O team was appealing because it kind of operates similarly to Volcarona in that it's like a setup spread sweeper with the additional benefit of not having an inaccurate move. But I found that it needs too much, like it needs too much support to get going. Like with Volcarona, you can just justify having the covert click there, dodge the fake out, have the redirection. But with dodge snarl. with Coma, it was just way harder to get the setup. You pretty much have to run, if you're running the Clangor Soul Set, you want to run Throat Spray, which means you vulnerable to Fake Out. You want to run like 3 different Terror types. I was running Fire because it's because it helped into Goldengo and into Volcarona, but like at times I was wanting other Terror types, so I ended up just switching to the team with Volcarona.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
And had you taken that team to any Perth events in locals?
Mark is nodding in the corner.
I'm trying to think at what point I started running it. I brought it to a cup, didn't do too hot. I started that cup 0-2, and then going into game 3, I noticed I had partway through the game I had the wrong item on my Volcarona because
I remember that. Yeah.
Diaclaw poisoned it, but my like it wasn't a poison touch poison either, and like
You had Covert Cloak on. You didn't have Covert
I didn't have Covert Cloak, and fortunately my opponent didn't notice, so I'm just sitting there like, please don't please don't give me this game loss.
Just scribble it out. Yeah.
Just yeah, please don't click knockoff into that slot either, because you will see it.
Have you ever got Frisk in the back? Oh no.
Yeah, I didn't like win any events, but I did bring it to a couple of locals to get some good practice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, winning locals isn't really a good marker of like how well a team will do at regionals. Is both Mark and I discovered.
And myself.
Yeah,
I won a cup with Gay Balance, and I pretty much bought the same 6 except for one change.
With Vivian.
I had Goldengo as well. I dropped 9 tails and replaced it with a Gay Butterfly. We'll get to that. The butterfly, the Vivian, and I need to have a chat. It's pending listing.
Did you check the ability on it? Did you make sure it was compound dice?
Yes. Oh, you're alluding to the fact that I missed a sleep powder. 98% accurate sleep powder. Cost me a cup. It's fine. Whatever. Because I played cup in day 2. I went 4-3. Okay, so do you want to go through your rounds? Is there any spicy stories, memorable opponents?
We'll get to that.
Someone maybe like, banging tables. I don't know, whatever.
I think that the story of your top 16 will cross over into legend fairly soon.
Oh, I read about it on Twitter today. But you don't even
Did you now?
You don't have Twitter, but your opponent does.
Yeah.
I did see that tweet, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to read it out. It's going to be great.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
If you post shit on the internet, I will read it out loud. That is a promise to all my listeners out there.
Oh, man. I'll go through round 1 against Ben O'Neill, a local player.
Former regional champion, Ben O'Neill.
Former regional champion. Now, I'm going to bear in mind when I start complaining about bad luck, this happened before the events of top 16. But
Swings and roundabouts. It goes up, it goes down.
Game 1, I lost to him on a crit electroshot, and being game 1 of set 1 of the day, it did put me in a pretty bad mental, and I made some unnecessary risk going into game 2, lost that one as well.
So you went into the day 02. Oh, wait,
no. So game 2.
Yeah.
Not a great start. Round 2 against William Few from the US, running a Perish Trap team with Primarina as the Perish song and with Como soundproof. Iron Press stuff. I was able to take the win there. Like, he was able to get like the Perish Trap idea off, but the problem is I was just exerting so much damage on the turns he wasn't protecting that he wasn't getting value out of like perishing me down. So I was able to take that one. Round 3 against Nicholas De Vries, using Rain, Pelipper, Basque Legion, that stuff. I got stuck really long on what this name seemed really familiar. Turns out it's like identical to a former F1 driver. I couldn't put my finger on it on the day, but yeah.
That's why he has the swift swim Basque. He's going fast.
Oh, true. I didn't think of that. Anyway, this round, I can't remember the order of the games we won, but one of the games I was in a winning position and a disconnect.
Ooh.
So
That's kind of story of the day.
Yeah, a lot of people.
a lot of disconnects on the day. So yeah, it ends up being a tie, go to sudden death, and I lose that. So that was pretty frustrating, especially coming like I was in a reasonably convincing position in the game before the disconnect. So that didn't put me in a good place, but we continued. Round 4 against Matthew Robinson. I can't remember what happened. Sorry. He's running Farigiraf, Ursulina, Dragonite stuff. I took the win there. Round 5, I had an interesting team. Jack, I'm going to butcher this, Pisasale, I think.
I played him.
Yeah.
It was the Zoroark.
Yes, with Volbeat.
With Volbeat.
Yeah.
I lost to that.
Cooking.
Heat.
So, the tech with Volbeat was side swagger into Lumberry Dragonite, which was cool, especially when you could lead both of them and disguise either of them as a Zoroark.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a tricky one to get the turn one right, but friend of the show, Jared Claflin, is also running Zoroark, and I had a lot of practice into it. So I knew how to best scout out whether it was a Zoroark or not, and I was able to take the...
Is it click protect turn 1?
Pretty much, yeah. the problem... but like...
We're very educational on this podcast.
The difference is here is clicking protect turn 1 is risky when they can get a side setup.
Yeah.
So you have to exert some amount of pressure as well.
You just lead King Gambit, so you can threaten the Sucker Punch.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Question: did the swagger miss?
No, it was wide lens on Volbeat.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really funny.
Cooking.
I didn't realize swagger was inaccurate
85%.
until I saw the wide lens, and I figured that's
You
probably
can thank this is probably before you were born. You can thank Thunderous for that one.
Yeah. It's like 90%, I think, now. But back in the day, it was 100 like
100.
T-Wave was.
Yeah.
You can thank Thunderous for that one.
round 6 against Harry Payne, running Rain as well with Whimsicott and Annihilate. This convincing game 1. Well, I think there wasn't luck involved in game 1 because in game 2, I got a Dire Claw paralysis on his Basculegion, which then fully paralyzed 5 turns in a row.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds fair and balanced.
Like the end game was I was looking to get my King Gambit in on the free to Sucker Punch it to death because it was paralyzed and could now outspeed the Arquajet, but it just never attacked my Sneasler, and I just close combated the Archaludon down and won that way. And then round 7, an unfortunate team kill against our very own Sebi Widdowson using Snow with Glaceon.
Shout out to Sebi.
Shout
I
out
love
to
Sebi.
Sebi.
Very good result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did she end?
4-3.
That's good, yeah.
She was top 64 as well, so 100 of CP under her belt.
So what was your day 1 result so far after 7 rounds?
5-2.
5-2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Sebi's team Glaceon with Snowcloak and Bright Powder. Very, very cool. I think the nerves might have gotten to Sebi a little bit. She did fake out my Covert Cloak, unfortunately.
Oh, dear.
And
I slept powder at someone with the safety goggles, and it was on the team sheet that had safety goggles. I still tried to sleep powder it. It's just like, in the heat of the moment, you just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was able to take that win. Ended the day 5-2, and at later that night we got a bit of a shock where round 8 pairings apparently went out.
Yes, I did see
for
that.
like 10 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Brief.
And not only that, but it displayed their team sheet as well.
Oh.
So we kind of figured that it was probably a misclick because people that didn't make day 2 also got round 8 pairings. But
Turned out to be correct.
which did turn out to be correct. But like it was like,
Intel.
why take the risk?
Yeah.
What if it is your next round pairing? So I went home.
Who's to
No
say you wouldn't
no
run
after
into
party?
them later?
That's where I
Saw it.
saw it. So, once I went home, prepared for that matchup and went to bed. Started round 2, I realized, nope, that's not my matchup. So I instead had round 8 versus Ryan Hercules using the Marco Sun team. An interesting discussion with him. Apparently, he's been scouting our usage.
Our usage, okay.
Has Jared Clappin been giving him the document? How does he know our usage?
Well, I guess that it's probably the document, but we have been hiding the teams. So like it's
Fucking Alfie. Who have you sent it to?
Or Robert Chen or Warren or suspected terrorists.
What did Buddy say?
He said he was expecting to see more Sun actually because he
Really?
saw it. Yeah, but I told him like I think the people that were using it had since dropped it. So
The only
Yeah.
people that
Like
run
for
Sun
the-
now are in Trick Room. Right? I don't see any fast Sun teams. Am I imagining?
Yeah, Brendan
Well-
Roberson, friend of the show.
well, either way, this guy chose to run it, and being like such a popular team, I was able to execute my game plan quite well. But then round 9 happened, and I got the matchup against the guy that I was supposedly going to match in round 8.
So you had the prep.
Yeah, so I had the prep, and pretty lucky I did because he has an Annihilate. My answer to that is usually to try and put it to sleep with Dozo Yawn, but it has Lumberry, so I had to try and find another game plan through it.
Is it like a bulk up one? Sorry, like a setup.
It was coaching, this one.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, like
Is it-
Final Gambit as well.
It was coaching. Hang on, I can look at the team, can't I?
Because it's Annihilates is like you never know if they're going to be fast, they're going to be slow, they're going to be bulky, they're going to be.
I remember the selling point for my game plan was it was no protect, so I could pretty safely double it up, and I think it was Terra Blast on Volcarona and on Dozo, because if they Terra, then they're weak to the wave crash, and anything it could switch into didn't like to take that double up either. So sorry, his name was Caleb Wija Sinha. Sorry, I've probably butchered that. But I recognized his face. We played at April Regionals as well.
Right.
He was running a bolt balance team, so I thought that was cool. So yeah, I was able to take that to end Swiss at 7-2 and make it into cut, which I was pretty chuffed about.
Was there a like a side beat up type strat in that team? Was it like a mouse hold or a bullet seed or a?
There was a Dragonite. So
okay, because you could side scale shot.
yeah,
Technically.
I can't remember what the Rillaboom set was, but
I think it's more they like coaching the Dragonite with those apes because like
Okay,
you get your
so
defense boost so you don't get -1 defense after a scale shot. That seems to be the common way to pilot it.
I was waiting all day,
Dragon darts
all
with
day
extra
for
stat.
someone to miss a scale shot into me. No one missed. Not a single person missed.
for what it's worth, no one missed it into me either. But I think that's
If I have run a
Kinda overshadow.
if I run a 98% accurate move, it misses.
Yeah.
So go figure. I'm cursed.
Speaking of odds of missing and hitting, how was your top 16?
all right. Let's go through my
match?
top 16 match. Top 16. So
Can I read out his tweet before you tell the story?
sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I actually think you guys are stressing out for no reason. He actually seems to be quite lovely.
From what I heard, yeah, actually,
This is Luigi.
Yeah.
Feeling bittersweet after a 9-0 in Swiss at Perth Regionals. So he's only 9-0 at this point, right? He's
yeah.
thinking, I got at least like guaranteed top 8 for sure.
I remember like Kieran sort of introduced us to all of him. Introduced us to him.
All of him. Ooh.
Oh, at the after party, no less.
Yes.
And he was just like, "This is the guy who went completely undefeated today," and we're all just like, "Hey, friend," and we kept
Subscribe.
drinking. But
So he said, feeling bittersweet after a 9-0 in Swiss at Perth Regional with no bye and losing in top 16 to a 1 in 2,000 chance sequence of events. Was really hoping this would be my breakout tournament to make a name for myself. Proud of my play and my friends. Hopefully Brisbane is the one. Well, you did make a name for yourself. I'm giving you a shout out now, Luigi. What's his surname?
Facey.
Oh, why is he? Well, he's
Bryce
Luigi
Facey.
at OCE and okay, fine. Bryce Facey. I'm making a name for you because you're featured on the podcast, It's the world's best Pokemon podcast.
Sam Pandelis is Zelda VGC, so I think there's like a little bit
Wait,
of an
Sam's real name isn't Zelda?
well, I'm not an expert.
It's not very Italian.
But no, what I'm saying is that there are a lot of Smash characters over East, I think. Just sort of generally.
Oh, it's a Smash thing.
It could be a Smash thing.
All right. Well, Bryce. Okay, so
am I to say?
commented on it on your behalf, Peter.
I thought he was going to do like a Smash joke right then. but
He said, so before you feel bad about reading this out, he said that this is referring to you. He clicked the right buttons, respect to him for knowing the outs, Pokemon giveth and Pokemon taketh away. So he doesn't sound that salty before you read out how lucky you were. Okay, now what actually happened?
So 1 in 2000 is not an understatement. Game 1, I think, ended with me going, the out was basically connecting 2 for 2 fissures and I got that. But then game 2, I connect, sorry. The end game was my Dondozo versus his, I think it was 1 Elf Pelipper and his Archelodon. I get the double protect to stall out the last turn of rain. There was another fissure in there somewhere.
You hit 4 fissures.
I hit 4 for 4 fissures. Basically, I got the double protect to stall the rain. He missed all his hurricanes.
It was like 3 hurricanes?
2 or 3 hurricanes out of the rain. All of the hurricanes he did hit in rain, none of them confused. I connected the first fissure on the Archelodon, and I was able to wave crash the Pelipper and win. And yeah, we calculated the odds to win in that way to be 1 in 2000.
What did Bryce do before this event to get this? Did he like murder an old lady or something in the car park? Just some hate crime in the car park before the event. So the universe was like, you know what?
I couldn't tell you.
If you're hearing this, Bryce, and you want to let us know what you did to deserve this, maybe in a past life.
Between day 1 and day 2.
Yeah, get us in contact with us.
It must be a first seed curse because in Melbourne, Nick Khan did something pretty similar, going a very good record and then missing a heat wave to lose. So
That's
first seed curse.
Second mention of Nick Khan this episode. Nick, why are you getting lots of mentions?
It felt very disgusting to win that way.
You looked disgusted. You were like pale, like shaking. I was like, I thought you'd lost. And you were just like in disbelief that you'd won. And you looked so guilty and you're like, I feel so bad for him.
It's one of those things you don't really like, because the fact of the matter is I did what I did. Like I can't.
You're a bad person. Yes,
I can't. I can't take it back. Like I can't just say, oh, I feel bad, to him, because he's like, at the end of the day, I went for that and got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like after the fact, I'm like, wow, I don't think I've ever gotten better luck in a Pokemon, in a game of Pokemon ever, and I don't think I ever will. The fact that it happened in top 16 of a regional.
Yeah, and the
that's
stakes
rough.
are that high.
Where 120 CP is on the line.
Yeah.
And
money.
Well, I think 250 is honestly, I can't imagine that happening to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like to say at this point that on behalf of the O2 Drop, we do not endorse spamming Fisher. It is not something that we endorse. So I just want to distance ourselves from that and your behavior.
We are not associated with Peter. That's what you're saying.
No, we're keeping our distance.
And neither am I.
Change his name to Peter Consonants.
I have to change my gamer tag to Peter B
Wow, that's a
C
lot of
D.
letters.
Yeah.
If I knew how to do the soundboard, I'd put a didn't.
Just push one of the buttons.
No,
No,
because what if I like?
It'll be
fuck
funnier
it
if
up?
it's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
Do the
hang
blue
on.
one.
The blue one. This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh, that says rim shot. What is that? That's got to be a sex thing. Maybe this is.
There must be the volume. That
Yeah, okay.
has to be the one.
Let's try rim
Yeah.
shot.
But
No, he doesn't do anything. Oh God, I don't know, Joel. See, he just fucking abandons us, and then I'm stuck here with a faulty soundboard. It's fine.
I can be a soundboard.
Thanks, babe.
Yep.
But
Thanks, future brother-in-law.
It's my air horn.
Okay, so we've reached top 8.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you've just ruined someone's life. They have gone to the toilet and
In tears.
In tears, they're in a cubicle crying, like messaging their mum, being like, "Sorry, mum, I'm not coming
Pick
home
me
with a
up. I'm
trophy."
scared.
And the effect that this must be having on your mental state is also.
I mean, nowhere near as bad.
No.
It's the fact that specifically it was an exactly 16 cut. He didn't get the bye. If it was 15 people, he would have got a free pass to top 8.
Oh shit! Yeah,
It's like the bad luck on top of the bad circumstances. It's
Is he
it's a lot.
Australian?
yeah.
So he's like Australian Cybertron now. And like like those will-o-wisp mists and top 4 worlds. Like this is his Cybertron moment.
Except Pokemon won't change anything.
In a multiverse, Bryce is regional champion of Perth 2025 somewhere in some timeline, I reckon.
I mean, in some timeline, we all are.
I'd like to believe that.
Yes, me too.
There are several timelines where I'm regional champion of 2018. Ben O'Neill, if you're listening. All right, continue.
All right, so top 8 against Dimitri, running like a P2 Ursa team with Kilowatt Draw.
That's Dim the Sim VGC. Shout out. I'll get to you soon.
Game 1, he gets a very, very good call. I protect so we've kind of got like a sucker punch war going between my King Gambit and his Goldango. He attacks on the turn I protect. I of all the turns to go for that, he did definitely choose the right one because it was the one he was like threatening to kill my King Gambit with the Kilowatt Draw, and he got that. So props to him. And then I was a bit flustered going into game 2. And he just no luck there. I just got better played, and I got eliminated at top 8. But personal best for me. So
Nice.
The person that eliminated you almost won the whole thing. So I think it's still
Yeah, he was in the finals.
Yeah.
Very cool team as well.
I'm assuming before this event, what was your previous highest finish at a region?
it was top 16. I got it in 2022. Back when there were only 6 rounds, and you only had to go 4-2 to get that.
Still count it. Yep. No, count that.
Still counts.
We take those.
It's on your limitless page.
Yeah, one of my losses was actually to Ethan over here.
Yeah, that was my my gravity year, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Like gravity.
Yeah. I remember your Zard at the time had a Lumberry on it, and I had to click Hypnosis into it like a total of 3 times to finally put it down.
Yep. Well, it worked.
It did. And the Sigilift didn't die in that time.
No, I mean, surprisingly, I hadn't prepared for Sigilift.
No.
So I mean, it was
Nobody had.
No.
It was Rinya's son. I hadn't really I just stole
Yeah,
him.
you just did it.
I mean, but yeah. So
Okay, well, congratulations on the top 8.
Thank you.
And being 11th in Oceania.
Thank you.
If you go to Worlds, I'll give you a list of merch I want you to buy me.
And things to say to Wolf.
And things that, no, look, we need to address the Wolf situation because I feel like there's enough people listen to this podcast now where someone knows Wolfie and can slide into his DMs. There's got to be someone. But I won't bring it up now. Have you got any?
Are we reigniting hashtag Wolfie goes down under?
He could, I know it was his birthday on Perth Regionals. Happy birthday, Wolf Glick, for the weekend. You could have celebrated with us. We had a great after party at Palace Arcade in the city.
Instead, he was playing Perish Trap on the GC.
Mate,
Really?
where are your priorities? We would have. I was buying bottles of red wine on Saturday night. He looks like a red wine drinker to me. I reckon we would have had a good time.
Yeah.
Is there any other stories from the weekend, Peter, that you want to share? You are the guest speaker, the star of the show, equal star to Kieran Singh, but he was.
He's not here,
wasn't,
is he?
He wasn't invited.
I mean, the one against Bryce was kind of the big one. I think I'd just like to say, it's probably meaningless at this moment, but I'm sorry.
Oh man, the one
Sorry,
time
not sorry.
that I got tweeted about was when I was when I said sorry to a Dondozo player that I beat.
I guess I'd like to say thank you for not dragging my name through the mud.
Yes.
He was very civil on the Twitter
there are a
posts.
lot of people that could have happened to and would have
Sportsmanship.
reacted a lot.
As I said to my
Worse,
response was
yeah.
like, this is the game we play. It's that
Yeah,
famous line we always have to tell ourselves so we can sleep at night.
I know personally I probably would have been a lot less mature about it. And
Well, going 9-0 as well, that's just...
I think
Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
after
want to say I have a
certain
lot of respect
point-
for you for reacting, for not, for
For not jumping over the table and punching you in the face.
pretty much, yeah.
I mean, I think after the third Hurricane miss or so, you stop hating the player and start hating the game, right?
Depends if like Pete started like hitting the gritty or something across the
Yeah.
table, then you'd probably hate the player.
If he started doing like a Mark Murray dab, it could have gone downhill quite quickly.
Thankfully, you're not that kind.
I cannot imagine doing that.
I can't actually. I can see you doing a cheeky dab at the locals. I want to look for it now. I want to pay close attention.
I'm only going to do it when you're not looking, Chris.
You won't know I'm looking. That's the thing.
You never do.
I'm gonna open it up to the floor. Congratulations, Kieran, as well for getting top 8. And we had Tim Nurse top 16. Timothy Nurse.
No, Tim went 6-3. He got top 32.
Who do we have? Did we have anyone else in
We
top
had
16?
Kuro.
Kuro,
in top
yeah.
16.
Kuro, yes,
Yeah.
congratulations. A friend of the show. I don't think he listens, but if you do listen, Kuro, because I keep getting in trouble for not acknowledging people. Kuro, well done.
We should get him on sometime. I don't know the first thing about that guy. I've never played him, never spoken to him.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good. I hear he's good at the game.
I heard he's like he's got the highest CP in Perth. Surely he's got like 300.
Maybe not after this weekend. I think it might be Kieran now.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. But he's got like the most like. I think has he already maxed his BFLs from locals? I don't know.
No, he hasn't.
He's had a crazy amount. Anyway. He's high up there. Well done, Kuro. All right, I'm opening the floor to
The floor.
to Dan and Ethan.
Oof.
Do you want to go first, Dan?
Oh, sure. The Tales of Misery.
Oh man, that's where I was going as well. But
Oh, the misery.
So we've just got 3 miserable stories. No,
Yeah,
I
let's
would
bring them in.
there were highlights. There were highlights.
yeah, there were highlights. I mean, I kind of went into the tournament. I spent 3 or 4 months being like totally confident in the team, thinking I was great, thinking I had all the good matchups and everything. And then after doing a bunch of flowcharts and like failing to get time to do more of them, I kind of realized about 2 nights out that there were certain matchups that I really, really didn't want to face into. And I had like a bit of a crisis of confidence. And I was just hoping that I'd run into Spam and Sand all day. And that did not happen. I got James Katsaros, round 1, the April Regionals regional champion, with Indeedy Sneasler and Electabuzz on the one team, my 2 worst matchups. And so my round 1 was over in 10 minutes. My round 3 was against Genting Lu with pretty much the same team. It was a slightly better matchup. I was able to get a game off of him, but I was 1-2 at that point, and I was kind of win-loss the whole day just because like my head wasn't in it. All the way up until round 7 when I played against Ben O'Neill. We were both 3 and 4, and I managed to swindle him out of a game. So if your resistance was poor, it was probably my fault. Sorry, Pete.
Yep, I was 7-2 with less than 50% resistance.
Huge. Stonks. My day was all right. Could have gone better. Round 1 was against Connie, who was running a Screens, Dondozo, Volcarona team.
Connie Macquarie.
Yes.
Shout out, I also played Connie.
Yeah. How did you go against her?
I won.
Yep.
It was a very cool matchup though, because I was running the self-appointed gay balance, which is starting to become a thing. I'm telling you now, people are calling it gay
This
balance.
was the
becoming a
gay
thing.
balance
And
versus trans balance,
Connie was
wasn't
like, I
it?
love that. Well, mine's trans balance. And it became the gay versus trans balance.
Started a civil war happening.
I've started civil
between
war.
the
I've started, no,
LGBT community.
yeah. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck trans balance. Gay balance superior. No, it was Hurst winning her win con against my team was Spam Fisher. She did the old
Yeah,
Peter Vowles strategy, and missed 4 in a row. Did an inverse Peter Vowles, missed 4 in a row. So I did beat Connie. But shout out to you.
Yeah, she did this funny thing where she like knocked off my life orb on my blood moon, and I predicted her Goldengo to Terra Water, and Terra Normal Blood Moon still O-code it even without the life orb. She's like, "Oops, I did not calc for that." I'm like, "Uh-oh." But yeah, I was running the Carson's team, that Blood Moon hyper offense. Round 2 lost to Martin Perez, who was he was the Spaniard who ran the hard trick room, very hard trick room. I do have lines into this within Prison DD, but Triple Axel Lilligant kind of threw it off a bit, and he just played out of his mind game 2 and 3.
So he won?
He won, yep.
Did he laugh at all in front of you? Because I wanted to know, because he said he was a Spaniard.
There was no Jar Jars.
No Jar Jar.
No.
Okay.
No. Round 3 was against Alex Katagas, who was actually friends with Martin. So Alex was from, I think, Canada, who was running a standard rain team, but with Toxicroak.
So we actually had international players come to us.
Yes, we did.
So if you're listening Pokemon Company International, imagine how many players would come if we had Oceanics back. If people,
Exactly.
if people are coming to good old Perth, the most isolated city in the world, and we've got international
It's home of the
players.
best podcast, though, so they wanted to come meet us,
It is.
really.
It was a meet and greet, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
They built a regionals around a
we should be
drop meet
paid
and
for
greet.
it, yeah.
I know. I think we should not have to pay for registration.
At least.
We should be staff.
Yeah.
Especially when we donate them a stream and a big screen.
Yeah.
Because
we
they're-
will. If you keep subscribing, we will put it towards trying to stream events.
Absolutely.
That is a promise.
We know that ESL is a small, struggling indie company that can't afford these things.
Yes. Who are employed by an even smaller indie company, the Pokemon Company International.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they do need a little bit of support from the
names
multinational,
like us.
yeah,
There was
mega conglomerate. Like
there
us.
was a stream. Shout out to Squid Easy and his team of friends that were like filming the VGC Masters finals
Yeah.
series on their phones.
Oh,
and
yeah.
streaming.
We had Mark kind of putting his phone over people's shoulders at like 20 times zoom.
So you can
And-
see the screen.
yeah.
Quality.
We have a photo in the group chat of us watching the Masters finals through like 3 separate phone screens to get all the angles we needed.
Yeah.
Give us the screen.
All right,
Give
so
us the stream.
round 2. What about round 3?
Oh, that was round 3. Round 4 was against Paul AMD, who was running Sand.
Masto. I know him.
Yeah.
Shout out to you too.
Beat him, and then he dropped. So I'm sorry, Paul.
I have a feeling why he must have been. So I'm going to give a shout out to Masto now. This is a good time. So Daniel Walker from Wollongong, one of Australia's best players and the most consistent. We're going to have him on the show soon, but he was having like a 2-day team crisis on my couch, keeping me up at all hours of the night. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? Watch this. And it's like, I'll tell you about stuff he was testing now that the regionals are over. I can leak the source. But Masto's a friend of his, and he was going to like make, because he didn't have enough stuff in-game resources to make it. So Masto was going to like, okay, I'll like EV them for you. What do you need, right? Do not ask me after 8 p.m. on Friday night. That was the only like clause.
Mhm. And what did he do?
Paul. So Paul is I can't remember the surname now.
Amity.
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 Paul Amity. So Masto, yeah. It was like 11:30 on a Friday night before like an 8 a.m. start to regionals, and he was making Daniel's team. And
Wow.
it got to like after midnight, I think, at one point.
Oh,
So
shit.
shout out to you.
What a lad, honestly.
Yeah.
And he was in like a full Togepi drip as well with the pattern.
Yeah.
Looked really cool.
Love to see it.
Round 5, I lost to Sam Kufel, who was running the team that Pete decided not to bring. Yep,
Probably a correct choice.
fun. And then, so I was like, cool, I'm at like, X2. If I lose my next one, I don't get day 2. And then I lost to Ben Kennedy after some very unfortunate Diaclaw procs. I think it was, just bad rolls as well. If he didn't get any proc on the Diaclaw, I would have won. But since he did, my Indeedee died after Sash. And then his Primarina lived on a roll from a Blood Moon. So I was pretty disheartened at this point.
To be honest, I think Reg H could be called Reg Unfortunate Diaclaw Procs.
Yeah. It's when it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And that was definitely evident in my last round against William Burke, where my win con was I only had DD Sneasler left. And DD's only attacking move is Expanding Force with the terrain up. So he was spamming Wide Guard. And my win con was proc Diaclaw on his Pelipper, so his Pelipper can't keep spamming Wide Guard. I get a paralysis. I get a turn 1 full paralysis and proceed to Expanding Force the rest of his team and win. So
That is so skillful, Dan. Well done.
after some bad rolls, I wasn't even like, I don't feel bad. I had a shit day as well. So, and that put me to 100 CP. So at the very least,
So
I
you
got
finished
something.
6-3.
4-3.
4-3. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Sorry. 4-3.
Yeah,
That was enough for top 64.
it was, yes.
I finished 71st and I went 4-3.
It's bad resistance. All the people I lost to made day 2. So, womp womp.
Well, people, my opponent's going to get fucked then. Get better. No, okay. So, any other highlights from the weekend in general? I'll talk about run, then we'll talk about day 2.
Yeah.
We had side events. You guys do side events?
I woke up too late.
I was in the cup you were in and then also just fucking got ruined by Diaclaw procs and that as well.
And yes, Mark, I can see you gesturing in the corner. We will get to you destroying small children
Beat
inside
children.
events in day 2. It is a very true and honoured pastime of our group to do on a day 2. I did it in Oceanics in 2022 and have no regrets. I still have the watch that I won from those side events. Okay, so
First of all, what was gay balance?
So there was a team crisis, which is what everyone calls it when I have a team crisis the day before a major event, which is every single year.
Yeah.
And I was struggling with the scale shot Dragonite teams because if they can get they're just it's just a really bad matchup for me. There's a lot of Rainbridge teams that were struggling with. So I ditched Alolan Ninetales, even the weather control is nice. It wasn't just the damage, even with Specs, Terrifighting, Terra Blast, Ninetales, it is 70% on Archaludon, and it was the only special attacker on my team. I'm this is dumb. It's too much physical attackers on my team. I need to rework the whole team. And I spent 2 days. I was in some deep shit. That sounds bad. I was in some dark places. I was testing Klefki. I was testing Bronzong. I was some weird ass strats. I think they had merit on paper.
This is what happens when you house Daniel Walker. He's a bad influence
He was
on
even
you.
worse than me. So for context, Daniel Walker came over on Thursday night and immediately just started staying up all night cooking teams. I had to work on Friday, so I went to work. He slept on the couch till 11:30 in the morning because he'd been up all night testing bullshit ideas. And then he's like, I'm going to have a shower. I get my best ideas in the shower. Sure enough, comes out. I've got the best idea. I've solved the meta. I heard the word solve the meta 27 times on Friday. And he kept saying everything was succulent or moist. That were the only 2 adjectives he used for any situation, any. Or if something was bad, it was inverse succulent. That was the
Inverse succulent.
succulent.
I love that.
Yeah. He was running a rain team. He was, I'll tell you what I'm running and then I'll tell you what he's running. So I put McCrow back on the team because I just missed having Prankster Tailwind because that way you could still play around the scale shot stuff and I ended up ditching Taunt on McCrow last second, literally 1 a.m. in the morning on Friday because I wanted Sunny Day. Because I felt the rain was just too overwhelming and especially with people like Basculege and Toy Span, Aquajet and shit like that. I just needed Sunny Day. So Gay Balance became Goldengo because it's just really fucking good, especially if you've got McCroy with Haze as well.
I thought you were going to say really fucking gay.
Gaydengo. Hashtag Gaydengo. The gayness.
Call that rainbow capitalism.
I ditched Garchomp mid-Friday. It was back on the team though because I just felt Fast Earthquake is just too good to not have on the team. And I had Terra Flying on a lot of things. I had Murkrow. I had King Gambit, which I changed to Terra Flying. I know you wanted me to have Terra Dark, Dan, but tough. Because it was better in the Psy Spam, Trick Room, Sun matchups. I needed to resist Gallade and stuff. I also changed my Sneasler to Terra Psychic because that was my matchup to, those Scarf male Indeedee Sneasler leads within Unburdened Indeedee's Psychic Seed.
Yeah.
I can Terra Psychic, live, and close combat the Indeedee to death. Dies to a close combat.
Why did you just go Terra Dark?
Because
Sneasler can CC.
Yes, it has CC, and also it's better in the Gallade matchup as well. Psychic resists everything that Size Band throws in.
Interesting.
I like Terra Psychic in Reg H. I don't know, it'll be obviously probably shit again Reg G, but Terra Psychic right now is good.
Yeah, it picked up a lot on Among Us.
Among Us.
Yeah.
So that was that. So then what made it gay was the Vivian. Because I worked out, thank you to Jared Clappin in some online testing, I worked out that Vivian, base 89 speed, max investment, outspeeds a lot of the meta, including Dragonite Scale Shot. And Mungus has slipped off a bit, and not everything was Terra Grass, not everything had safety goggles. Not everything had Vitality Spirit following me, although there was way too many electabuzz for my liking on Saturday. So I just went Fast Sleep Powder. Let's go, bitches. I didn't even put Follow Me. I dropped Follow Me last minute for Protect, for in case they had so I didn't have to Terra Ghost it all the time.
What's a Rage Powder on the Vivian?
No, it was Tailwind, Hurricane. Every time miss Hurricane. Actually, it was Vivian did so well for so many games, and then it the last couple of rounds, and then in day 2's the cup entered on the side event. The other one's you know what? I've done enough for you this weekend. Fuck yourself. I'm not hitting a single attack. For
I
the
need
rest of
to
the day.
rest.
I need to rest. I know in its defense, it did put entire teams to sleep in several games. So, but I think that was my lead up into the Dragonite stuff, and yeah, it just put them to sleep before they can get a scale shot off. Yeah, and there's hope they don't lead like to us. And then like you'd lead like King Gabba next to it, so you can just like scatter swords down stuff while they panic about the sword
While they're sleeping.
But people cotton on to this. There were ways around it. So my run. Okay, so I've waffled enough about what gay balance is. First round was Maddie Cursor, who is I don't know where. I think, is Maddie a Perth player? I can't remember.
It's not a name I've really heard.
Yeah,
No, he's new. Anyway, I'm pretty sure he's from Perth. I had it into Discord. Yeah. Shout out Manny Cursor. It was his first regionals, and he ran an Infestation Toxapex team.
Oh, I was about to say friend of the show.
That would have been a long day.
Yes, but I was he was very vulnerable to sleep powders, and I was just overwhelmed, like getting like nasty plot Goldengo and just like push through. But yeah, it was a very cool team. Shout out Manny Cursor, friend of the show now, thanks because I think he's cool. And then I got was it at round 2? I can't remember round 2. This is not an order, but Ashley Coe. She finished high school this year. So shout out to Ashley Coe because she's insane. I had to play her in a cup, and she's a Polytoad girl. She's a girl that was like, oh, I brought Rain, but I really like Polytoad, so I thought, should I bring Pellet? But no, I was sticking to Polytoad. She brought Polytoad to regionals as well. She went 6-3, I believe. No,
Polytoad,
6-3,
amazing.
but she went 4-3, but and also kicked ass in the cup. I think she was in like top.
She was top 4, yeah.
Of the cup the next day. Yeah, but wide lens muddy water Polytoad, for the record. That was insane. She just outplayed me. Like game 1, it might have even been like 4-0, like in Pokemon. Like she just read every switch, every play I made. Like I thought I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. That she's not going to suspect this. No, completely. Like I was just blown away how she was playing like Wolf Glick. Like it was ridiculous. So shout out to you, Ashley. She did beat me. I took her to 3 games, but it was her win. And then she said, I'll see you in top cut. And then we didn't. So it was a bit sad. But yeah, huge. She said she's going to listen to this. So Ashley Coe, well done. Future. I said on the group chat that she'd be the future of Perth VGC. And I stand by that.
Yeah.
Her and Takumi. When Takumi, in 50 years becomes old enough for Masters.
Well, if she's going to listen to this, she'll point out that you versed round 6, not round 2.
Round 6. There we go. I wrote this in order of people I remembered.
Would you like me to bring up the people you versed in chronological order?
No, fuck them. No,
right,
okay, yeah, you can. Okay, what was round 2 then?
Round 2 was against Dim the Sim.
All right. Okay, so Dim the Sim, he is a hilarious guy because he saw that everyone been winning regional championships has been posing with a ski plume plushie on like the official like winning photo, right? He's like, I've got the source. So he showed a picture of him like ordering the ski plume plushie on the poker store. Then he got it in time, brought it, and I played him round 2. Smashed him game 1, no offense. Game 2, I was ahead. I think I was a Pokemon up and had a really commanding position. I think I was just I had like a faster team. I was doing really well. I was had Vivian up, putting things to sleep. And when you play. You get confident and you stop playing safe and you start getting a bit too aggro. Instead of clicking Sucker Punch, I just clicked Kowtow Cleave. It killed his Pokemon, but like he got to make it rain off and knocked out the Vivian, which like freed up that threat. So like he can come back.
Yeah.
So I threw game 2 and then game 3 was just like an arm wrestle and he pretty much kicked Mars in the end game. But like he said to me like, oh, like you had me game 2. Like you threw that when you didn't Sucker Punch because like he had a Goldengo up in front of me. I was like, fuck, like, why didn't I just click Sucker Punch? It's a safe play, but I was like, so just like playing aggressively.
Yeah.
You know? So
It's that
in
good
another
player
timeline,
thing, they get into your head. Yeah.
we did have a chat though. He had made a deal with me. He said like, oh, if I win regionals now, I'll subscribe to your show. And I said, well, and like regionals, that's a bit like a bit of an ask. How about if you get top 4? Top 4 is pretty good. Like you have to subscribe, you get top 4. And sure enough, newest subscriber to the bottom card.
Perth Regionals finalist.
Perth Regionals finalist, Dimitri, Dim the Sim VGC. Well done. You were really fun to play against despite my dumb shit that I did.
And thank you for sticking to your word and actually subscribing.
Actually subscribing. Shout out to you.
Friend of the show.
$3 American a month. You can listen to
American.
the bottom cut bonus content, which we have an episode out every week. And you can send us like your top 10 favorite Pokemon, Dim, and we will rate it and roast you. And we have a Discord, so we'll have to get him in the Discord. What was I going to say? One thing I forgot to say, speaking of future of VGC, my day started off with fucking Takumi, friend of the show, enemy of Chris Ma. So Takumi waddles over to me after getting a round 1 bye for TCG. So for VGC.
For juniors,
I should point out that Takumi is literally one of the world's best, like if not one of, but probably almost the best junior player in the world. He's got 2 international runner-ups. And he's like 9 years old. I don't know. It's ridiculous. He's like, his record is ridiculous. Yeah, he's been 9 for like 3 years. And he walks over to me. I said, what are you doing? Why are you not playing? He's like, I got to buy. I said, yeah, you need a buy to win, obviously. Like, giving him some shit about getting the buy. And then I said, who do you want to win? VGC Masters. And he goes, Kieran or Alistair, who are like his, coaches and friends. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. That was low-hanging fruit. I said, okay, apart from those 2, like, who would be your 3rd pick? And he goes, how many Masters players are there? And there was 173 for the record, which is like 1,000 times more than any like Latin American special event. But not that I'm bitter.
Most we've ever had.
Yeah, most we've ever had. 173 Masters. I was like, I don't know, like 190. He's like, okay, then you'd be my 190th pick. And then just walks off. And I'm sitting there like waiting for like the match to start. I'm just like shooketh round 1 from that. I'm like, thanks. I really needed that confidence boost. So thank you, Chikemi, for that.
Based.
Who was I round 3?
Damien Cullen.
Right.
Do you want me to tell you what you versed?
He's from Victoria, and he ruined my day because I had the perfect lead up. I called he was a Dragonite player.
Yes.
Yeah, Dragonite Sneasler. I was like...
Are your notes just like physical descriptions of what they look like?
No. Damien Cullen, hot. No, it's not that, Damien. If you're listening, shout out to you, Damien. No, was he the one with the Grimmsnarl?
No.
Okay, so here's someone else. There were 2 people that comboed my Vivian counter strat to their strat. He Diaclawed my Vivian turn 1, paralyzed from Diaclaw, fully paralyzed Vivian. I don't get to see Pat on Dragonite. Dragonite goes to fucking town, scale shotting the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, Damien. Did I win that game?
No.
So I was 1-2.
Yes.
I was submarining from round 3.
Yeah.
Fuck, no wonder I had a bad day. All right, so...
And then round 4, you versus Connie Macquarie.
Trans-balance. We've covered that one. I won that one great. I was 2-2. I was back in it. After winning the turf war.
The turf war's crazy. You're like, that's why Al let us first.
All this talk of gay balance and trans balance when he's clearly going for hyper offense.
What was Connie did have it? What was the it was Grimmsnarl,
Dragonite, Volcarona,
and
Rillaboom, Dozo, Goldango, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that 6 is trans balance for those playing at home now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your round 5 was against friend of the show, Jared Clappin.
Well, we need to talk about Jared Clappin.
All right, enemy of the show, Jared Clappin.
So he
helped with Pete's prep. Come on, he has to be
he helped with my prep too. I took him. I won. And it was like the most intense, like best of 3 games. And he vouched that it was a good set. Like we made each other sweat for it. And there was maybe a little bit of RNG in there, but like it was just a really solid game. But then he went and ruined all that good standing by then in round 6 actively barracking for Ashley. Ashley Coe, my opponent. And who else? Do you know who else was barracking for Ashley?
Probably Takumi.
No, a judge, Drax. I had Drax and Jared and Ashley. It was 3-on-1. So, Drax, you have a lifetime of service. I know you're stepping away for a bit from like running events, but like I was going to take you off my list of enemies because of what we've done for this community. Because no, he's on the list from the 2018 bullshit that happened to me at regionals where the judges DQ'd me in top 8.
I don't think I've heard that story.
You're offline. It takes too long. But I was going to take him off the list, and then this goes and happens.
Promoted, silver tier.
Life member. Well done. All right. And round 7?
Scott Kennedy was in the wheezing team.
Yeah. Oh, God. So I was 3-3. I was like, I need to win to get a chance to get top 64 CP. That's what I was gunning for.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit tired. I've been up all night dealing with Daniel Walker's bullshit. You know, like I haven't eaten anything apart from some like $14 bullshit chips from the cafe that opens at like fucking midday for some reason. I don't know. Don't get me started on the venue. But it's fucking cold in there too. So I'm cold, I'm hungry.
It's just an industrial
I'm
warehouse.
emotionally broken down.
Being bullied by a child.
Yep. Someone also like, I don't know which opponent had Grimstar, but someone prankster Thunderwave to my Vivian too and got it, and it was fully parried. My Vivian.
That was Connie. Connie was the only Grim Snowy verse, yeah.
My Vivian day one was fully parried, like fully paralyzed, like as in like it couldn't attack that turn like 5 times. So yeah, well done. That was great. Anyway, Scott Kennedy had a wheezing team. It was Will-O-Wisp and wheezing. Will-O-Wisp did not miss any of the turns in all 3 games we played. It was 100% accurate. It was like an inverse Cybertron. Then it had Ability Shield Incineroar, which apparently it couldn't stand being in the game for more than 1 turn at a time because it was just pivoting every single turn. So my guard chomp was like -4. And he also had the dual wing big choice scarf Salamence. So there goes my there goes my Focus Sash Vivian and my Sneasler, which was not Focus Sash because it had the white herb. So that those one shot both of those and also dual wing beat never missed. So he wins game 1, game 2 and 3. I had no match up into wheezing. I'd watched Daniel Walker wreck people on Showdown for the last 2 days under my username. I don't know what my ranking is right now.
Boosted your elo.
Because here's the funny thing, right? So Dan bought a new laptop. There's some like some like generic $600 brand laptop the night before flying to Perth. Brings it over. He's like, I couldn't get to work on the plane because it needs internet to be able to log in. So he brings it to my house and he's like setting up he needs a Microsoft account. So he's like setting it up. And he won't, no matter what he did, it was this endless cycle of looping things. And then it kept wanting to like, because it's a new Microsoft account, you need a parent or guardian to endorse this account, whatever. So then I had to log into his new laptop under my Microsoft login and vouch that yes, he is I am his legal parent or guardian. I authorize him. And I had to turn off like all the like the filters, I didn't want to be notified every time he looked at porn and stuff. So I just spent like 10 minutes on his laptop setting up like, he's allowed to do whatever he wants. There's no search restrictions on his like internet searches or anything. And now,
you're a terrible dad.
According to Microsoft, I'm his legal parent or guardian. So
oh yeah,
Daniel, don't do drugs.
That means you're entitled to his winning.
Yes, exactly. I want all your CP and all your prize money. So I've been dealing with that shit. But yeah, I had no way to beat wheezing. It was regular wheezing, by the way, not Galarian.
Yes.
And I feel bad. I did a Peter Vowles. My whole...
The terms are started for you now, Pete.
My entire team, other than Goldengo, was physical. And my entire team was burnt. And I mean, my entire team was burnt. All 4, apart from Goldengo, game 2 and game 3. And he was like, Goldengo's attacks weren't super effective against anything that he had, really. And he was just obviously like knock-offing into it and shit like that. My only win con was just to sit there with my negative like 6 burnt Sneasler, which he was ignoring for some dumb reason. He kept dual wing beating the Vivian and stuff instead or whatever else. And I was just clicking Dire Claw every single turn. Got to the point where his entire team was put to sleep. And I literally just chipped him to death before I died to burn damage.
Full burn team versus
that is my round 7. It was just the jankiest games I've ever played in my life. I had no win con. He was so far ahead in game 3. And then he just had to sit there and watch his team sleep to death.
That was my game against Ben O'Neill in the last round, actually. Like, the game 2, he was running like the side bullet seed, Arcaludon stuff that he's been running forever. And in game 3, like the end game was like +6 bridge, and he was ignoring my ape while I bolted up, and I got to like +5. He'd maxed out my rage fists, and I think I'd burned his Rillaboom, and it was just like throwing out like increasingly flaccid bullet seeds, like literally 3 HP at a time at one point. And he
just push and rope with those bullets.
Yeah, that's it. And his bridge, I think managed to get me down to like 2 HP at one point with Dragon Pulse, and it was just like the clutchest of clutch lives because he'd just hit me with 5 bullet seeds and crit the last one.
Ooh.
So yeah, so it was like 3, 3, 3, 3, 28 or something, and yeah, I just like drain punched all of that health back on the Rilla.
Nice.
I don't think I gave enough credit to Jared Clappin for his fuckery of a team. It was Choice Scarf Gallade, And he also had like a Specs Hisuian Zoroark with Will-O-Wisp. And
Hey, he also
played
had
this foul.
what? Grassy Seed Rillaboom
Yes,
with Acrobatics.
With Acrobatics,
What the
which
fuck?
did come into play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his team was the ultimate, like our best of 3 was just all mind games because I knew that one of those games at least was going to have Zoroark. I didn't know what it was. I was like, do I just sucker punch and pray? Do I just risk getting, outsped and Will-O-Wisp if it's the wrong target? Like, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Just stop running Zoroark, mate. Like, why would you do that to your friends? That's
Hey, it helps friends as well.
I
Come on.
may have convinced him to stick with it. Sorry, Chris.
Pete's the problem.
you have been a serious problem this whole event. Fuck you and Takumi.
List?
Okay, what Peter? Getting top 8, like, does that redeem his crimes?
Given how I got to top 8, I'm not so sure.
Not so sure. There was I'll give there's a lot of shout outs. So Daniel Walker is obviously a very special person. He calls it weaponized autism. That was his phrasing.
Is that the direction we're taking now?
Yes. Shout out to
This is
him.
the turn, right?
I pick him up from the airport on Thursday. We got
From the bottle-o.
pick him up from the bottle. I drive him to a bottle shop. Say we're gonna need some drinks to get us through this night if we're going to be cooking. Because I was having a team crisis. He had no team at all. He didn't have any of the team. He was begging me at like. Obviously, had to lock your team at like 7 a.m. on Saturday. Like he's up at like literally up at like 5 a.m. being like, I haven't got TM taunt. So he had to put Flare Blitz on his Incineroar instead. Shit like that. That's how I had to deal with. Anyway, so we go to the bottle shop, Dan Murphy's, and said like, you get everyone. He's like, oh, I was thinking he's the biggest bloke, right? He's wearing like a singlet. He's just the way he talks.
He's from Wollongong.
He's from Wollongong. It's like a country town in Australia, in the middle of nowhere. It's big. It's actually probably a big country town, but
It's a nice place. I've got friends in Wollongong.
I'm sorry. And we go to the bottle shop, and I'm like, get away. I'm going to the gin aisle because I'm a classy gay. He comes around and goes, yeah, I found what I want to drink. It's a 1 liter bottle of Bailey's. Irish cream liqueur.
Holy crap.
Hell yeah.
I then had to drive to IGA on the way home to get a 2 liter bottle of milk so he could have milk and Bailey's on ice. And that's what he drank. And then in the after party on Saturday night, shout out to everyone who came to the after party. We had probably like 30 people there.
Fantastic.
Getting lit.
Yeah, a bunch of Easterners as well.
Yeah,
Thanks.
shout out to Easterners who came.
fun.
He finished off his liter bottle of Bailey's on Saturday night, then and we started drinking bottles of wine, red wine, and cocktails, and Red Bull and vodkas. He came crawling in to he woke me up going to the toilet, and he came home at like 5:15 in the morning.
Holy shit.
And he'd made day 2. Apparently, he was on the dance floor at 3 a.m. asking people, do you think I'm going to cut tomorrow? Do you think I'm going to top cut tomorrow? Like, mate, if you have to ask.
At 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m. comes home. And then instead of, he did not top cut. He got a third loss in, I think he won the first round and lost the second.
Yeah, I think so.
But so he lost in round 9. So then the rest of the day, he literally spent the rest of the day on the toilet in the convention center. And apparently,
After his liter of Bailey's.
He disappeared all afternoon. I could not find him. And he was like, yeah, like it was green. It was coming out green. So I'm sorry for if I had to sit in the toilet cubicle next to him at the convention center.
This is not behind a paywall, Chris.
This is the return of the milk challenge. Hell yeah.
So what a fucking idiot.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
I'll wait for him to come on the podcast and I'll leak all his tech then. But he did run, his team was, I'll just give you a quick summary. He ran Choice Scarf Soak Pelipper next to Terra Electric Electroshot.
I nearly ran Soak Pelipper.
Yeah.
Heat.
It was diabolical. The things I saw him do to people on Showdown. The people are
There's
probably...
also substitute on his bridge as well, wasn't it?
And that's his favorite move in VGC is substitute.
It's really funny.
It's the things he was... Also, he had Galarian Wheezing and Sinistra. It was... and he literally would... That was his Ursaluna, like P2 match or whatever. He would sit there and wall all the Ursalunas because they physically, no mind's eye, they could not hit a Sinistra.
True.
Earth powered as fuck all.
Yeah.
And he would just set up Calm Mind, and then just switch with much of gotcha. And Weezing would just sit there thinking like Protect and Will-O-Wisp and shit. It was diabolical. And then if you've got that team on, if you've got Sinistra Weezing on the team and you switch Weezing out, before it switches out, Weezing gets the hospitality boost.
This tech happened to me on the GC. I didn't know that happened that
Neither
way.
did I.
It's so stupid.
What the fuck? Because like, surely if it switches out, it's not on the field to get the
I
hospitality
know.
boost.
It's like it's disappeared, but its health bar just goes up. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one.
Insane.
Yeah, where like the opponent had Indeedee. I switched my wheezing out. The Intimidate activated like hits one Pokemon, and you could hear that the wheezing was getting intimidated, but it was like behind the camera. Like the audio was like all the way to the left. It's really bizarre.
There are some really, really insane. Like if you want to look, Wolf Glick. I mean, you know my pet peeve with him. If you're listening, you know Wolf Glick, and if you ever chat to him, can you please ask him to unblock Chris Ma on Twitter? Because we
haven't asked in a while.
All I did was ask him to come to Perth and started a hashtag Wolfie Goes Down Under campaign. And apparently he got annoyed by that and blocked me. And
There was that picture of him on the sexy broccoli. So
that was Dan McGooley's doing.
You can't take me down
posted
with you. You asked for these materials.
It was funny. Go have a look.
It was
at
funny.
the Mazda on which is MARRSTER. Go look at Twitter and look at all the
good material.
the
Yeah,
hashtag Wolfie Goes Down to post. They were golden. He was photoshopped into like places in Perth.
Yeah.
With you know.
The mad scientist one at SciTech, I enjoyed that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark, I know you're itching to talk about disconnects. Do we just give him a microphone for a second because he needs to get this off his chest?
yeah, man.
Hello, everyone. How's it going? Sorry to deprive you of me for so long.
That's enough from Mark.
Yeah, right. I hand the mic back now. How are my levels, by the way? Because I don't have headphones on.
You're doing
I'm just
great.
eyeballing
You
this.
are
Great,
doing
lovely.
absolutely amazing.
No, that's fine. I'll do it raw. What's up? What are we talking about? I've been playing Bellatra on my phone the whole time.
I thought you wanted to bitch about all the disconnects, which happened to all of us, by the way. You're special.
Yeah, I mean, it was fucked. Yeah, I don't think I copped it any worse, really, than the majority of players. The worst one was round 2. I was in a really good spot against a fairly unfavorable matchup, and then the disconnect happened. It was, I think 3 Mons to 2, because I just essentially sacked a Mon for the free switch. Although even then, I think 4 to 2 still comes out as a tie. So that wouldn't have mattered. But I was in a really good spot, and then the disconnect happened, which just kind of threw my mental, and I narrowly lost that one. Round 3, I would have won and taken it to sudden death, except as Ursaluna lived on 2 HP after a Specs Dark Pulse and a Make It Rain. So that was very frustrating. If I took that out, it would have gone to sudden death. And anyone who knows me knows that my teams are made for sudden death because they are just insanely aggressive. And then I had a couple others throughout the day. The last round, I almost copped a game 1 loss because one of the judges decided that my switch it was like the 4th time we'd failed to connect to the game. We'd changed docks, we'd tried different things, restart, swapping union circles, all that. By the 4th time it happens, there's a different issue. The judge decides it's my switch that's at fault this time and goes to issue me a game loss, but then just goes to check with the head judge, comes back and says, okay, head judge says just try again. So we tried for the 5th time. We actually managed to get into a game, play the 3 games out. I lost the first one and then won the next 2. So I won that round, which I would have lost if I did actually cop the game 1L.
Nice.
So that was nice. But yeah, they fucking union circles and docks and put your switch on flight mode and
like 10-year-old software now. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
It's janky as fuck.
small indie company Nintendo. Let's not give them too much grief.
I reckon flight mode is what breaks it. I was on flight mode, didn't disconnect once.
I reckon it's a union circle. I don't know
reckon
why
it's
they
the
make us
switch.
union circle.
I reckon it's the internet cables in the docks. The
The Ethernet cables. That could honestly also be it. I mean,
because
it probably is the docks because that's swapping docks usually fixes it.
yeah.
So I don't know why they make us jump through all the hoops. Put it on flight mode, go union circle, do this, do that. It's just kind of we never have disconnects at locals.
Yeah, just go offline and just find
Search by your table number.
offline and go the table number code.
Do you guys remember the 3DS days where you link up the infrared sensors, push them together?
Oh yeah.
There was so many sud deaths. I had one in the cup on day 2, but Tim and Dim the Sim had a 7-turn sudden death, which was insane.
I mean, it's rough for Tim since he was playing the Dozo team. It's the worst person to get a sudden death. So
Yeah.
and so I also
was
heard
rough.
Oliver going for Dim because Tim's team is very good into Oliver's team as well. So
Oh, though you say Dozo's bad into sudden death. Just play
Just
the
hit Fisher.
30% win con. Just first turn, protect Fisher.
Isn't that exactly what he did?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
I think he
I was
went for
over at the I was over at the side event tables.
I think he went for it turn 1. I'm not sure if he tried again.
that'd be so funny if it hits.
It would.
Imagine
Imagine losing a sudden death that way. I would probably.
Fisher protect.
I would kill myself.
No, you got to go for it for the content.
I mean, I respect the play,
Yeah.
but you know, I'd mention them favorably in my suicide note.
Yeah. We should mention Dim the Sim VGC, Dimitri, our finalist. He basically just destroyed all the Perth local talent. He beat me in Swiss. Then he took out Robeson in like a win and in. He took out in day 2. Took out Tim. Took out Peter. Did he kill anyone else from Perth? That's 4 of us. It was anyway.
Enough of us.
Enough of us to. You'd think I'd make him an enemy, but because he subscribed, friend of the show,
It's only $3
Chris's
to
list
get
is
off
pay
the
to
list.
win.
Yeah.
friend of the show. Also, Scoot Easy. Shout out to you. We're going to do a collab. You said you would while you were drunk on Saturday night, so I'm holding you to it. A couple of awkward moments for me. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Diego Ferreira.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, and apparently invited himself on to the show.
He didn't invite himself on. He basically asked if he could be considered as a guest.
He offered as well.
He
He said,
begged.
if you ever
He begged.
need someone,
Yeah,
I'm
he's like,
happy
have
to
you
do
ever?
it.
Yeah.
Diego, look.
And he did offer when there was others with you. It wasn't just to you.
Yes,
He doesn't want you to be on it, I think.
I think we're probably for the best. Chris won't be on that one.
He came up to me and goes, "Oh, so I didn't know who he was because I'd like to make a disclaimer here, right? I have had to obviously pay attention to the competitive scene because
You're a
of the
fucking
podcast.
liar. You know who he is.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious. This did not happen this happens to everybody, right? I guessed who he was by the Chilean accent and his ravishing good looks, but it was like people come up to me at events and expect me to know who they are because I bitch about them on a podcast. But I was like, fuck, like, who's this guy? Like, he's like, so I hear you've been talking shit about me on the podcast. And I'm like, oh no. Who? First of all, like, it could be anybody because I've talked about shit about everybody. But no, Diego did call me out and I've had to reassess this because he, first of all, did come across as lovely.
Yeah.
I know that a friend of the show, Jordan Lamb, did have a bad experience with him previously at an event. We can confront Diego about that live on air in the podcast. But I
list of grievances to air out with.
yes, yeah, it could be a sentencing trial. But I did.
You stand accused of the following.
I called him out. I said, "Well, I mean, you play in Australia. You're an Australian, but you're on the Chilean World Cup team. So, like, why? Well, you're not good enough for the Australian. You know, whatever.
Well, was Australia not good enough for you?
Like,
Yeah.
why are you not?" And he's like, "Well, no one invited me."
He said he specifically was disallowed from the Australian
Yeah.
team because he flies under the Chilean flag.
Yeah, well, Kieran was standing right there. And then there was a heated discussion between the two. And Kieran's, I'll get you one. I'll talk to them. I'll talk to Victory Road or whatever, whoever bloody runs it.
Well, he wasn't allowed because he played for a different country the year prior.
Yes, but
Yeah,
he has
that's
to
what it
keep
was.
has to keep playing for Chile. He's never going to play for Australia.
I mean, if he
because
just like stops playing the
for a
World Cup for
year-
1 year, yeah.
that's fucked.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask him
If he
to do
lives
that.
in Australia, I mean, come on.
He wants to be on the Australian team. We want him on the Australian team.
Yeah, let's go.
We'd kick, I don't know, Alistair or someone. But
Yeah, someone shit like that.
Co-captain.
So Diego, maybe it was a bit rash putting you on my list of enemies.
But also for the record, a guy I met at regionals called Matt, who I'll shout out a bit later, came up to me and was like, "Hey man, Diego wants to meet you." I was like, fuck, like in the car park or what's the context?
That's why you ran over to me for backup.
I literally went over to Dan.
Dan and his
I said,
gun show
Diego
over.
wants to meet us. We're going together. I'm not going alone.
you didn't have your gun on you that day when you pulled a gun on us and we talked about unbundle.
They
out
were
there?
frisk searching at the doors. But no, I was just like, I genuinely didn't know. Like I was, not that I was worried about a physical confrontation, but I was kind of scared that he was going to be displeased with us. I was like, I'm not going alone. Dan, can you come with me? If I knock, can you talk? Like, But no, he was really nice. He said he was a fan of the show and said he'd want to come on. So shout out to Diego, friend of the show.
Yeah, like I'm a clone friend of the show too, and he actually won me over in person. So I'm going to take him off my list, and I will wait till the sentencing episode where we discuss his crimes, and if he gives it pleads a good case, I will permanently take him off the list. He's on probation at the moment.
Okay.
Okay.
Didn't even have to pay the $3 for it. Damn.
Well, he should. He's won enough prize money from other events, right? Like you've won enough like shitty little like Latin special events or something.
They don't give you money for those, do they?
Oh, do they? Oh, bad luck. I will give a shout out to Jackson Maybury. I think I drunkenly told him I would give him a shout out on the after party on Saturday night. Your friends are trying to throw you under the bus and convincing me that I could sleep with you because you were desperate enough. But I didn't. I was respectful of your boundaries. Congratulations for the shout out. Then I'll give a shout out to, first I want to give a shout out to speaking of Diego, Chile. We've got a spike in listeners in Chile in recent weeks.
It's just Diego listening on repeat. He's such a fan.
I don't know if it's like
he doesn't even live in Chile, but he's spoofing it.
Is Diego's family like taking notes, being like plotting a hit on me?
You've been added to the Ferreira family list.
And so we're huge in Chile, still huge in Sweden, obviously. Shout out. I would love for people to actually message us and be like, hey, why are you listening to us from a random country? We have no idea what we're talking about. Perth locals.
Yeah, hit us up. What makes you decide you want to listen to this crappy Australian podcast?
I actually figured out, like, if you don't have Twitter, you can obviously message us on Twitter, the O2drop_VGC. If you don't have Twitter, you're limited because you can't message people on Spotify, but you can message us on our YouTube channel. You can message us there. You can message us on Discord if you find us on Discord.
Or send a handwritten note to Mark's address. Joel, please edit that out.
Redacted.
I will need
Mark's
to
address.
remember to message him about that.
Another person that confronted me. And I swear to God, I only know.
I love how you keep getting confronted. I had nothing but positive experiences.
Yeah,
It really kind of shows
wild
the kind of
accusations left and
energy
right.
you're bringing to this podcast.
You get confronted. Your sister says I'm her favorite. Like,
Yeah, okay, no, you know what's right? Yeah, on the list, my sister Claire locks off to day 2, leaves us, and then there for like an hour and a half. She's like, "Oh yeah," she's like, as soon as she saw you, "Oh my God, you're my favorite person, Dan Baguli." Like, and Daniel Walker was her second. I wasn't even third, I don't think.
How did Daniel Walker react to finding out he's your sister's second favorite?
I think she ships Daniel and I, not her and Daniel. I think everyone needs to, and also Alfie, the Rizzler. Can everyone just stop making a play at my sister, please? It's just embarrassing, and none of you are going to succeed.
No.
So another person that confronted me, and as I said, I don't recognize people's faces. I mean, name, yes, face, no. Nick Khan comes up to me, not in the car park. I'm making it sound more dramatic. Comes up to me at a table and was like, so I was like, I listened to your show, and I just went to Sacramento. And I went 8-3, and I listened to the Sacramento episode, listening to you discuss my results. Didn't mention me once, and I just had this meltdown because he hadn't talked about him at all.
he's like, you didn't mention my run, but I got to hear about your top 10 sex positions.
Okay. So Nick Khan went to Sacramento. He went 8-3. He's a great player, one of the best Australia's ever had and will ever have probably. Nick Khan, great person. Yeah, Nick Khan. Is that better?
Can I also just quickly drop a apology to Nick Khan for not mentioning you? I don't want you to feel like you've been snubbed. It's not because we didn't want to shout you out. It's because none of us could be fucked trawling through and none of us actually knew you were there.
And also, I don't know. I didn't know what you look like. I apologize. I do know now. It's ingrained in my brain that I know what you look like now. And I will pay attention to your results. And you're not on the list. You're not an enemy of the show. You never were. Apparently, we just didn't care about you enough to look you up. I'm sorry. But I have apologized.
This is that top tier VGC analysis that you get at the O2 drop. None of us even noticed that there was an Australian in Sacramento. We just looked at top 8 and was like, yep, that'll do. Let's talk about that and then talk about sex positions.
Pretty sure I told you guys he was there.
You know what? If Joel, if you're editing this, you can go back and splice it in if Dan Baguli did in fact bring...
Joel doesn't splice shit.
Yeah,
I wasn't at the recording though. I put it in our group chat.
No one reads that. Shout outs to everyone who took our business cards. Dishonorable mention to Dan Bagula, who started leaving the business cards on the Switch docs.
That was genius marketing.
And then got us in trouble with the judges. And
I got pulled aside by a judge.
Judges told us off.
You tried to encourage me to do it, and then like 5 minutes later, I heard that you were getting told off for it. I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't do that. I mean, nobody talked to me about the fucking podcast because I was on the bottom tables. I walked out of there with like 4 of them at the end of the day.
I like how I didn't get the warning and I was the one leaving them.
Yeah. I got pulled
did you end
aside
up-
by Drax.
How many did you end up handing out?
I
We
handed out
had-
most of mine.
We had 250, so I'm guessing we handed out around 200.
Well, I mean,
I-
Drax had a lot in his clipboard because he had to keep taking them off the Switch docks.
yeah.
Confiscated them? Come on, man.
I just speaking of the attention we got, a special shout out to Matt, who I mentioned earlier. So right at the start of the day when we were waiting to receive our team sheets, he's a couple of tables over from me, or like a couple of seats
This
over
is in
from me.
alphabetical order.
Yeah, because in
Yeah.
alphabetical order. So Mark and Matt pretty close by. He leans over and he says, "Hey man, are you on the O2 drop? I recognize your voice." And I have to say, I was so incredibly chuffed because I didn't think anyone gave enough of a shit about the podcast to recognize our voices from it. So to be recognized as like, hey, that's that guy who makes dick jokes on Spotify. Huge shout outs to Matt, friend of the show.
Yeah, thanks to all the crew from these states, especially the ones that came to the after party. It
Yeah.
was fun to meet everyone in person and talk and bury the hatchet with Tobo since Alfie was talking shit.
Yeah, Toby, we never said a bad word about you. Listen to Alfie.
Yeah. But yeah, just to everyone who I had Melbourne regional champion Kieran Singh coming up to me as like, hey, I've got all these people who want to meet you guys. So shout out to everyone we did meet. Thanks for saying hi.
I've got let's quickly just say, Oliver Ramsey
Yeah.
won the regional.
Yes.
Do you want to
Congratulations.
give us his team? I know he had Assault Vest, Assault Vest Ursulina with Vacuum Wave.
If
It-
anyone paid attention to the Stuttgart regional, it was the same team that
Right.
Eden ran.
It was
so-
it was 6 good mons. I was like,
Yes.
yeah, that's 6.
Yeah.
That is 6 good mons.
Yeah, it was the Blood Moon Ursuluna, with the Assault Vest, the Terra Fairy, Loaded Dice Dragonite, Incineroar, Life Orb Golden Go, Sash Sneasler, and the Terra Psychic Among Us.
Nice. Well,
So
I was in the toilet in the convention center at the urinal.
was it green?
I hear wild applause. I ducked out during game 2 of the Masters final because I was busting and I wanted to like miss the rush of everyone running to the toilet. Within the urinal, heard wild applause. I was like, oh, something's happened. Could have been anything at that point. But anyway, as I'm like finishing at the urinal, Oliver Ramsey runs in, like literally bolts into the
Yeah.
toilet
That
and like,
was funny,
races past me. I'm like, I turn over my shoulder as I'm peeing, look at him like, mate, don't you have like a Masters final that should be playing right now? He's like, yeah, I just won.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, all right, congratulations. And we're like sitting there like washing our hands and like, so like, is this your, is this like the highest, so have you ever like top cut a regional before? Because I didn't really know much about him.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, oh, this is my first Masters event.
Yeah,
And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, oh yeah, I was playing seniors last year. He's like, he's 16 years old.
yeah,
His dad was there taking
photos.
photos of him. Like,
Well, the awkward thing is that when my sister Claire was there on Sunday, we're all standing there, watching the Masters final, and Claire and I going, "Oh, like he's such a cutie. Look at his hair, because he's got this like like loose curly like mop on of hair, right? And I've always wanted curly hair, and he's got really good hair. Shout out Oliver for listening. Got great hair,
right.
And I was saying, "Oh yeah, how cute he looks with his hair," and I find out he's 16. So I have to apologize now for sexualizing a 16-year-old child. It was not
Dreadful.
intentional, and I do apologize for anyone who heard me doing that in the Masters final table.
I do want to mention, like, that's exactly what happened was he wins game 2, throws his hands back in the air in triumph, shakes his opponent's hand, and then immediately gets up and legs it to the bathroom.
Yeah. No, like it was the speed of light
so
into the
funny.
bathroom.
I don't think it was
they
the
were-
surviving in game 3.
No, that's what I
Would
thought
have
as well,
pissed
because there were
his
2
pants.
long games. So if it went to game 3, like, we're talking long, like it was like
you get permission to go to the toilet, surely.
it was an Incineroar, Porygon 2, Amoongus end game with like slow pivoting. Like, it took fucking ages. Game 3, he would have had wet trousers. Right? Like,
Okay, well, I'm glad that didn't happen to him. He seems like a nice guy. Congratulations for winning.
that's what motivated him to win. He's like, I'm not going to game 3. I'm winning this now.
I'm going to give a shout out to Timothy Nurse because he's a member of the list, as people know. And I have thought long and hard about this. So Tim at the start, so Peter, you got insight into this because you were the cameraman. Not only to get Takumi talking trash to me, start of the event, Peter Vowles on camp filming this. Timothy Nurse rocks up with a Rowlet plushie, which he stole from me as a door prize. And that's why he got on the list to begin with, remember?
Yes.
He comes up to me and goes, oh, Chris Ma, can I get an autograph? pulls out a Sharpie,
I'm sorry, how many listees at this point are on there for plushie theft?
Mark's off because he gave the plushie back to me.
Okay.
And now Tim's off the
You
list too.
pussy.
So 0.
He caved to pressure.
In fairness, it wasn't to get off the list. I was trading him for Pokemon cards.
Okay, fair.
We love our shiny cardboard.
Yeah.
So then he said to put out a Sharpie and asked me to sign his Rowlet. So I was like, I gotta make this as inappropriate as possible. So I've signed it right on the crutch of Rowlet, right where his genitals would be, thinking, oh yeah, that's like funny. That'll be like, content for the group chat. I have to then proceed to watch Tim play day 2, sitting there with a Rowlet on the table every single round with my name on its dick. So I think for the bravery of that, I'm going to take Tim off the list. Friend of the show.
For being
Friend of
so
the show.
brazen.
And
What do you have to say about this, Pete? Are you making a TikTok with it? What's happening?
yeah, where's this footage going?
To be honest, when he asked me to record, I had no idea what the context was. He told me after. But yeah,
He's like, record this.
yeah, that's pretty much exactly
Fair.
what he
Fair.
Just go with it.
That man has no shame.
No.
No,
I don't have any more dishonorable mentions. The only thing I would like to say quickly is dishonorable mention to the judges, because at registration, like pre-registration check-in, we're given our wristbands to say that we're competitors, that we get allowed in the event. And every single judge, and Joel, usual host of the show, is guilty of this too, telling every single person, oh, yep, they're waterproof. You can shower with these on. Their exact words, you can shower with these. Well,
Wow.
there was wristbands disintegrating left, right, and center. They were made of like fucking crepe paper or something.
It got to the point where you could tell who had showered the morning of the tournament.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the sweaty nerds that hadn't showered were like pristine wristbands.
I picked mine up
Yeah.
Saturday morning for reference. I did shower.
I
Thank
had
you.
to. I had to get mine replaced on Sunday. Like after the second shower, it disintegrated and came off, and I had to like leave it lying on my bathroom sink, and then pick up like the crusty dry pieces the next day. Kind of carefully take it in and hold them out to the judge and show them the remnants of my wristband. Is like, please, sir, may I have a fresh one?
I think Pete's was so like broken. There was like one logo visible. So otherwise it would just be like, that's on any wristband. It's not coming back in here.
I
because people people were complaining in the group chat like theirs was breaking before I had showered. So when I went to shower, I like taped around it so it would so it wouldn't get wet. But the tape just tore it all off. Just tore the front layer off. So it was just even worse.
I got someone to help me. I sticky taped mine, like a layer of sticky tape all the way around so that I could keep showering.
laminated it.
Like the good hygienic person that I am, I laminated my wristband.
Nice.
But I know that ESL and Pokemon Company are small indie companies, so they probably can't afford nice lanyards like we used to have. But
I mean, even the wristbands in April were waterproof.
there was a thing going around. Apparently, the actual wristbands didn't arrive on time, and they had to settle for these like last minute ones instead. That's a rumor that I heard. I don't know.
Well,
I didn't see it on.
We'll confront Joel.
I didn't see it on Centro Leaks, so I don't know if it's real or not.
Just before we wrap out, can I won't do a full day run, but can I just quickly shout out my opponents purely because I tried to bait some of them on by saying they'd get a shout out if
If you won.
no, just listen to the podcast because I'd shout them out because I played against them. So just quickly going through my opponents, shout out to Jared Cristaldi, who came over from over east, played a very offensive team. 2-2-2, probably the most fun set I had all day. That was good fun. Round 2, shout out to Ben Madigan, who soldiered through all those disconnects with me. We got through it together. Fuck you for your Ursaluna, and it's 2 HP, but that's fine. Round 3, shout out to Daniel Bennett's. Cool guy, outplayed me. I don't have much more to say about that. I played like shit. Round 4, shout out to Luke Uele, if I'm pronouncing that right. And if I'm not, I don't care because he beat me. But that was a good game. I almost made a really good outplay game 2, but then I still lost. And he pointed out, actually, you could have won if you just outplayed me better.
Hey, if you're just good, you would have won.
Pretty much. It was
get
the
good,
last turn of Trick Room. He was expecting me to protect my Golden Go. I clicked Make It Rain to take out both his Porygon and his Incineroar. And he's like, it was the last turn of Trick Room. Why didn't you just nasty plot again so that you had enough juice in the tank to take out the Ursaluna even after the rage powder. I was like, because I didn't fucking think of it. So shout out to him for giving me some good advice. Round 5, shout out to Laura Simmons, who said to me at the start of the round that if she lost, she was considering dropping to go study for ATAR. Very fun. I bullied her game 3 with Encore from Whimsicott. I think I Encore locked her 6 times over the course of that game, so that was very rough. I apologize for that. Thanks for being such a good sport about it. Round 6 against Jalen Green, who came up from Bunbury. So thanks for coming there. Thank you for intimidating my killer Wattrel with your water Tauros and giving me the cleanest KO I've ever had. And then round 7, shout out to Zhuyan Wang, who unfortunately did not get the win from my Switch disconnecting. So sorry that the hedge judge didn't give you that dub. And that was my day. I didn't get to game 2 because I'm shit.
Look, you got what? What was the
Another
final?
4-3.
Yeah, 4 wins, 3 losses.
Okay, look, I wouldn't say that's shit. You went positive, and that's
I also wouldn't say that shit.
Yeah, but you went 4-3 Den and got CP and packs out of it. I went 4-3 and came in 76th, which meant I got fuck all, which is, I think, a byproduct of going 1-3. And so my res wasn't fantastic.
I also got fuck all. I did get 25 CP in the cup the next day.
Yeah, so you played the
huge.
cup the following day.
Yeah.
I went over to the side event table.
Destroyed small children.
Well, so the friend of the show, Jordan Lamb, and I went over. And we're just like, this sounds fun. Let's do this. Kind of expecting other masters. Now, all the masters who didn't make day 2 were either not there or playing in the cup. So we sit down at the table and it's just children. Just like juniors, right? And then a couple of
Like
seniors.
not fully evolved Pokemon.
Yeah, pretty much. And the format of the side event was everyone gets given a single TCG booster pack. You open it, and then any of the Pokemon that you find in there, you can make a team out of them so long as the team is Regulation H legal. And if you pull any not fully evolved, you have to use the not fully evolved. You can't use their evolutions. So, for example, if you opened a Reboot, you couldn't use Cinderace. You had to use Reboot. And I pulled... Oh, and you also just like had to make it with your Switch. So if you had them ready, that's great. Otherwise, you had to go catch them and do everything. I had a battle-ready Rhyperior and a battle-ready Rotom, both of which I've pulled from the pack. So I just went Disquake on these children with their not fully evolved, not at all battle optimized, caught 5 minutes before the tournament started. I felt bad, but it was very funny.
You're just Homer Simpson in that diorama competition.
Yes, it was. It was exactly that.
But it's for children. Yeah, but he won. Shut up.
My absolute favorite match was so against this girl who was basically like 3 NFEs and then Drifbloom. On the last turn, I had taken everything else out. Her Terra Fairy Play Rough Fido did like 5% to my Rhyperior. But then on the very last turn, she had managed to set Tailwind, so she was going before everything else. And to avoid getting 4-0'd, she clicked Explosion to go out on her own terms.
Good for her.
Which was incredibly based. Yeah.
So based.
And then I lost in finals to Jordan Lamb.
Shout out to Jordan Lamb for beating Mark. Well done.
Yeah.
Must have felt good.
Fucking abominable.
I'm going to give a dishonorable mention quickly to Warren. Warren Cabral played 6 rounds, then decided to fuck off and drop round 7 and gave
He
Jared
played
a free
5
win.
rounds, actually. He got the round 1 bye.
Oh, okay. Even with a bye, you still decided to drop and give Jared a free win after I earned that win against Jared. Bloody hell. I'm giving I'm not going to say why because I'll explain why. I'm going to give a dishonorable mention to Megan Rattle. I'm not going to say why because I refuse to be cancelled by her, but I'm going to put it behind a paywall.
Subscribe.
So if you want to hear my Megan Rattle story from this year's regionals, it's going to be on the bottom cut. Subscribe.
Oh, speaking of, I looked amazing on the weekend.
You look really nice, actually.
Yeah.
For a change.
That can be our Twitter picture. I'll send you some.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It was very nice to watch you at afters, like jumping over the chairs and your little skirt flew up. Got a good view.
Were you tucked? Like, was it underwear?
There was
Absolutely
underwear.
Okay, all right. Untucked and ready to go. Does anyone, before we finish up, does anyone have any like trends from Perth that they think, well, because Toronto is the next event, right? Is there anything that was, I saw like a lot of rain, a lot of standard shit, a lot of Ursaluna balancy stuff, some sun, nothing nothing new and spicy.
Yeah, we are a Pokemon podcast. Here's a quick rundown of stats. The top 5 duos, Bridge and Pelipper,
Yep.
Sneasler and Blood Moon, Goldengo, Incin, Amoonguss, Incin, Goldengo, Amoonguss. Cores of 4, the top one was Goldengo, Dragonite, Amoonguss, and Incin. Then Electabuzz, Indeedee Mail, Sneasler, and Blood Moon. So those are kind of like, it's either you're going to have a balanced portion of it or you're going to have a hyper offense portion of your team. Those seem to be the most common. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's like all of fucking Toronto. So
Is Toronto the last tournament of Regulation H?
it might be.
There might be like
Don't quote me.
I was under
Yeah.
the impression that we were until you mentioned it just
No,
now.
this
but
coming weekend, like everyone has like dropped their pace on Twitter, so it's probably coming to the end. Like
yeah,
Marco dropped his LAIC pace, his GC pace. Everyone's doing it now. So
I don't think we can expect anything new out of this meta now.
No.
It's pretty solved. It's pretty finished.
yeah, unless like we do a repeat like with Reg G, I don't think it's going to change in a week. So
Yeah. We will start talking about some Reg G spice in upcoming episodes.
yeah, since it's
Absolutely.
coming back.
But yeah, Perth once again proving one of the most unappreciated, but still one of the most premier events in the world. We need a stream if you're listening.
Or just a
We need-
showcase screen, please.
Wolf Glick,
That
come to
would be
Perth.
amazing.
Wolf Glick, come next year to Worlds. Come to Perth next year, you coward. Obviously, he's avoiding the showdown with me. That's fine. If you know Wolf, if you're in his DMs, please get him to unblock me. We need to hash this out. Let's see if we can. Maybe we can get him to the next Australian regionals.
Yeah, maybe.
Brisbane.
If we get OCIC, there's a greater chance.
Ooh, that would be spicy. If you give us OCIC.
Chris will do a nudie run through the venue.
After only if I go like X4 drop. I'm not going to do it and throw away my chances of winning.
Chances
So
are
you're
slim.
telling me there's a chance.
Yeah.
I've done some dumb shit in my. Do you reckon I get permaban for life?
Just so
Full
you
on
know,
nudie run, yes, you will.
there are juniors and
kids?
seniors present at the venue.
You guys are no fun.
We're not the ones making the rule.
All right, fine. I won't do it then. I'm not getting permaban for life.
Mankini.
I'm not getting Neil Patel'd. all right?
Mankini run. Fucking hell.
Okay. So thank you everyone who joined us for this episode, especially if it's your first time. Please, we do have an episode every week that comes out. You can find, if you want to subscribe for $3 a month American, it's the cheapest it'll let us. We can't go any lower than that on Buzzsprout, okay? It's not our fault.
It's about $5 Australian.
Yeah,
isn't it?
like it's not. It's honestly, it's a coffee. You can go. The link is on our Spotify. The link is on our Twitter. The O2 drop _VGC.
Scan one of those QR codes that may or may not have been taken by a judge.
Yep. Follow us. Message us. You can feel free to slide into any of our DMs. Give us a feedback. What do you want us to talk about? If you've newly subscribed to the show, send us your top 10 Pokemon. We will review your list and destroy you and give you a score out of 10. And give us other ideas of what you want us to talk about on the podcast. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. How does Joel usually sign this off? Is there something I'm supposed to say?
Later, cunts.
Talk to the social media.
I did the social media. Follow us on everything.
Sorry,
Love
before we finish up, I'd like to give one shout out to Jared Clappin for making Kieran's team, only to lose to him in round 1.
There were so many team kills. Like,
Yes.
I mean, like, there was like what? Yeah, like I know that there's probably like 30, a core of like 30 VGC players in Perth, and there was 173 Masters, and I feel like it was just like team kill central.
I dodged everybody except for Ben O'Neill at the end.
Wow, good
I
job.
also dodged everyone. Mark's normally coming up against everyone. We always have the memes of him killing. Oh, well then.
Anyways, we were finishing the episode.
We're finishing the episode.
Yeah. Shout out to Peter Vowles
Yes,
for joining
thanks
us.
for coming, Pete.
Thank you
Any
very
other
much.
shout outs?
Shout out to Melina, sorry. She brought Choice Band Sandshrew
Yeah.
Yes.
on sand.
Sand Shrew.
Yes, Choice Band.
Okay. Yeah.
Sandrush.
Yeah.
Also, sorry, just quickly on that. Shout out to the absolute mad lad who brought Morpeko to Perth Regionals.
Yes.
Absolute. And, Morpeko not typically use Pokemon. This person 0 wins, 7 losses. So
Perfect score.
Stayed the entire
par for
day.
the fucking course,
7.
but mad respect that they brought it at all.
Yeah.
Respect.
And stayed for all 7 rounds. Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
Chad.
Yeah. Well, even if you travel, especially, like, get the tournament experience, get the high level opponent experience, and play it out.
Yeah, and very fittingly, their score was 0-7.
We salute you. We are all currently saluting you. What's the person's name? Do we? Nothing.
07 more Pecco. guy.
07 more Pecco guy. Peter, are you going to Brisbane in March?
I would like to.
What does that mean?
Uh,
You need money.
yeah.
Subscribe so we can fund Peter's travels.
Leon Cavalco. 07 more Pecco.
Leon Cavalco, we salute you, friend of the show. And I've got to really be careful now what I say about everyone, because apparently people do actually listen to this show. And now I can no longer say things like, Thank you for joining us. We will see you next time.
Until next time.